Now I'd like to welcome to the stage York Chen. He's the founding general partner at TechVentures, and he focuses on high growth investment in Greater China. York, I've known for many, many years, and from my days as a journalist covering venture capital and technology innovation for other publications. So York is known as a venture scholar and a venture evangelist, as well as a book author. And he helped to set up Tech's venture unit in China in early 2000, which really gave him a front row seat extremely early. And now he's back here in Taiwan. So we'd like to welcome York to the stage. Thank you, York.
Good afternoon, York Chen. I moved to Shanghai in year 2000 from personal computer to venture capital in the Asia group, and just moved back to Taiwan because I'm getting old. So, here I touch on the cross-strait entrepreneurship and the venture capitalist opportunity and challenge. And we all know that Taiwan is a small island, so the market is very shallow and very small. So for a sensible business, you need to expand out of Taiwan. But Taiwan is a very ideal place with well-developed, mature infrastructure for the startup. But eventually, going out based on the past experience, either across the Pacific to Silicon Valley, particularly in the 90s, I think with a huge number of overseas Taiwanese students in the States. I think there is a quite active cross-Pacific entrepreneurship opportunities out there. And then in past several years, particularly in the new economy, in the internet applications, I think there are quite a lot of entrepreneurs across the Taiwan Strait to China. And some of them are doing quite good job out there. And this Go South trend is something emerging, but we still need to see how they're being developed. This is trends intensified, go onshore, 上岸. I think 2009 is the turning point. Before that, majority of the venture capitalist money are coming from overseas fund. But after that, you can see that local RMB funds has been surpassed the overseas fund. It's a trend intensified in past 5 years. Unfortunately, the currency here is in renminbi, 100 millions of RMB. I changed into the US dollars. So for 2015, for this year, combine the angel, venture capital, and the private equity together. In that year, for the onshore fund, in terms of RMB, is US dollars 56 billion US dollars of RMB invest into 7,000 companies. And then for the offshore, it's about 25 billion US dollars invest into 1,620 companies. So you can see that it's a doubling of the amount for the onshore players. And this trend will continue. And following on this trend, till now there are 36 listed 中概股 Chinese company in the Wall Street at different stage of privatization, restructuring in, and try to go IPO in China A shares. And this is a diagram to illustrate how the foreign players are playing in China. There is a fund usually parked in Cayman Island, a venture capital firm registered in BVI, and there is a rep office in Beijing to manage the fund invest into Chinese companies. But the investment will not be happen for the fund direct cross-border convert into RMB to own a piece of the stake in local company. Instead, the company has set up his equity entity set up in Cayman Island. So the investment from the Cayman Island fund to the Cayman Island entity. And this entity is the entity for the IPO for being merged. And all the stakeholders has their interest in this Cayman Island entity. But here, this is a 100% subsidiary of the Cayman Island company with a legal name called Wholly Foreign Owned Enterprise. And because this is a foreign company, so you will not be able to get ISP, get ICP, doing the e-commerce, getting the online advertisement income. So you need to set up a special purpose vehicle here as a 人头公司 and use this to apply for the license and to book all the revenue. And you will see that these are 2.9. So these are not direct equity ownership, instead by contractual agreement. So all people know that this is part of the company, but this legally is not belong to that IPO company. Yeah, this is 上有政策，下有对策. And after year 2000, thousands of the company doing this kind of structure, including all these Alibaba, Baidu, Tencent, all these companies are doing the same. And following the trend of go on show for this company, if they will be able to raise enough RMB to buy out all the foreign shareholders, then it's quite okay. But if not enough money being raised, then this is structure just happening in past 1 year. To my understanding, about 100 companies are doing this. This is a reverse the VIE. That means that for the local entity, this is the entity for local IPO. They don't have enough RMB to buy out all the foreign shares. So some of the foreign shares still stay with the company as a shareholder, but they are the foreign entity, foreign company. So they will not be able to direct own the shares in this entity. Instead, through some kind of contractual arrangement, you will see that this is a part of the reverse VIE. So by this way, I think people from Taiwan will be able to participate in the Chinese new economy company targeting for IPO in 新三板 in A shares. I think quite unfortunately, when the Taiwanese people entering into, go through the airport immigration counters, you are asked to go through this 中国人, Chinese national channel. You are not foreigners. But once you enter the counter, you are foreigners. Taiwanese are foreigners. So you will not be able to own direct a company shares. They are doing the new economy business. You can do the manufacturing, you can do the software development, but not in the internet, on the mobile applications. Okay, C2C, copy to China. This is a fundamental business model for Chinese internet companies. And been doing well. For example, like I think DD is a very good case study. Funded in 2012, emulating the business model of Uber. And they just raised 1 billion right after 3 billion fundraising last September. And now market cap is 20 billion. And very interesting, in China, till today, there are 47 unicorn companies. Amazing, right? 47. Unlisted private company with a valuation more than $1 billion US dollars. And DD is one of them. And DD is far, far ahead of Uber in China. And then DD's way of globalization is to tie up with, they invest $1 billion into Lyft and also into Ola, into Grab Taxi. So forming an equity as well as operational partnership. So from middle of this year, the people in China used to the environment of DD app. When I, as a tourist, go to the States, I can use the same app in Chinese. Call up the car from Lyft and the payment to be done by RMB back home. There are 5 million Chinese annually visiting the US, and there are about 3 million American people come to China every year. So for this kind of people, they will be able to use the mobile app they are used to use the car in Indonesia, in India. This is a very creative way of globalization. Okay, 新三板, this is I use the word great leap, 大跃进, because you can see that in 2014, it's only up to 1,006 company, and end of last year is 5,000 company, and at the moment it's about 6,600 companies listed, more than double of the A shares. And just 2 days back, Chinese government announced to stop 国际新兴版, the international emerging market, going to launch in Shanghai. And originally, the 国际新兴版 is trying to facilitate those are 中概股, those are coming back, those are delisted Chinese company to be listed in Shanghai in the 国际新兴版. But that one has been stopped. So for sure, I think quite some of them will be crammed into this 新三板, and very interesting to see how this ball will be going to develop. This is also a competition of the different cities. There's a 深交所 in Shenzhen, there's a 上交所 in Shanghai, and this one is in Beijing. So it's a 3-city competition. Okay, I think this is quite understandable. Taiwan has some good base in the TMT, in the ICT, in the semicon, in all this area. And also, these are big companies like Foxconn, like Acer, like all this has good setup in China. And these provide quite good opportunities for the entrepreneurship. And right. And this one is also quite common happening in mainland China, even at the street side food store. They were mentioning that this is a Taiwan 香肠 or something like that, but actually nothing to do with Taiwan. So here we see a lot of opportunities out there. For example, like 鲜亮礼服 is 100% controlled by Taiwanese people. And then the challenges is also quite big, so-called 同名同种, but the environment is completely different. We invest into quite a lot of Taiwan-funded startup and helping them to move over to Beijing and Shanghai. And you need to completely change the business model. Right? In Taiwan, maybe you can, for example, like the cyber community business, you can charge the VIP subscription fee, but in China, everything is free. So you need to change your revenue model completely. So here, this is quite different, and the revenue model need to do adjustment and know who equally important as know-how in China. So for the project to move over to China, it's advisable to try to get the local partners and also try to get some of the mainland China-based venture capital to be in the board to help the company more localization. Yeah, this is the photo I shot in Suzhou, Zhuozhengyuan. And for the gentleman enjoy the small garden, he's also enjoy this 北市塔, the 五华里, the 5 Chinese li away. And for 1,000 years, Suzhou government prohibit higher building between this garden and the pagoda. So I think Taiwan is so small place, small market, just like this small garden. But you need to leverage. You need to see how you can blow in the China market into your planning. Okay, if any of you like to get a copy of this and to follow up discussion and communications on the investment in China, this is my contact number.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's worth the admission price alone right there. So VC's email contact. York, let's see if there are any questions from the audience.
I'm James from Bubble Eye. I was just curious if you could elaborate on VIE. I didn't understand what it stands for, and I still was not still a little unsure of what it represents.
Okay, VIE, the 3 words is variable interest entity. And in common words, 通俗一点 is 新浪模式. In year 2000, the company Sina went IPO in Nasdaq. But Sina's business model is portal. The revenue, maybe 80% are coming from online advertisement. And this kind of business is forbidden by the foreign company to operate in China. A foreign company in China will not be able to get all the necessary license. So through clever lawyers, the VIE business model was designed. And after that, for past 15 years, thousands of the companies are through this kind of arrangement to get the foreign venture capital investment and also an IPO. Yeah.
Isn't that in question today, though? Is it in question today, whether it's going to continue to be allowed?
Not really. I think Chinese company is very practical because through VIE, you can see that billions of the US dollars pump into China to help to build up, to develop new economy business in China. All these big names are supported by the foreign money, and this is a fact. Because in local market, you will not be able to get the support or the investment from the local RMB, and only the foreign funds and also the Wall Street were supporting that. So to Chinese government, they know that this is illegal. People like us invest into a similar company, and we are in the board. We could be put into the jail because this is illegal, but it's socially acceptable.
Okay, here's a question here in the front.
So thank you.
Connie Chen from New York.
Thank you, Rebecca. Speaking of competition, you mentioned Shanghai, Shenzhen, but you didn't mention Hong Kong. As you know, on November 2014, they linked, now actually becoming more one. Not only just the Shanghai, Beijing, and what about Taiwan? So can you speak about that as far as IPO is concerned? Since there's such a long line, regardless whether you qualify or not, you can wait another 3 years before you go IPO.
Okay, understand. I think China until now still with capital account control. So the country border for the capital flow is huge. It's very high. So for a Chinese company, if you register as a local entity, say register in Shanghai, in Beijing, in Chongqing, your IPO site, you can only select from Shenzhen, the small medium board, the 创业板, and 中小板创业板, and also in Shanghai, the A-share, the main board, or the 新三板 in Beijing, right? And for the Chinese company registered as a foreign company, like the chart here, in Cayman Island, or in Taiwan, in Delaware, in Hong Kong, I think your IPO size should be, say, Wall Street, maybe Taipei, maybe Hong Kong, maybe Singapore. For Chinese entities to go out of the border to IPO in Hong Kong, like H shares, I think this is not applicable for the startup. This is more applicable for the government-owned companies because it requires a lot of approval of this. I think it's out of the consideration for the entrepreneurs.
I think you can see why York is known as a venture scholar, right? So thank you, York. Thank you very much.